So, just over 2 years ago at like the point of filming, MrBeast is a niche YouTuber you may have heard of, made this video called I Survived 7 Days in an Abandoned City, and this video sees Jimmy and friends go to a place called Kopari in Croatia, which is this like hotel complex that was abandoned in 1991 after it got like really damaged in the Croatian War of Independence. Now recently I was in Croatia, not too far away from this place, and I decided to travel there on account of it being in the MrBeast video, and I also documented it so that I could post it to YouTube, which is what I'm doing right now. So yeah, I'll just cut to that footage, I guess. Okay, so I'm currently in Croatia in Dubrovnik, and this here is a village called Kopari, which you may know from the MrBeast video I Survived 7 Days in an Abandoned City. And well, I just wanted to take a look at it on account of it being in the MrBeast video. Some interesting things that I want to point out is in Jimmy's video, at the very start, a helicopter drops the gang off and then it flies away, which causes Jimmy to stay, and there goes our only way out, implying the helicopter was their only escape from the abandoned city. This is entirely untrue. It's really close to civilization, actually. It was like a 5-minute walk from civilization. It's not that far out the way. I literally ate at a restaurant that was a 10-minute walk away from this place. Furthermore, it's not a city, it is a village that was a hotel complex, but who cares, honestly. I think this is one of the points, if you recall Dogpack 404, that the I worked for MrBeast, he's a fraud guy he made those videos about exposing MrBeast. I think this was one of the points he made, that the quote-unquote abandoned city was not a city and you could also get an Uber from it.
The city is not abandoned. These buildings are CGI. But it's not your only way out. You can literally get an Uber to the airport for $20. That's not a lurker.
Now, many of his points were debunked. However, that one is true. I can safely say that is true. But honestly, who cares? Like, oh, MrBeast exaggerated his video and title. Yeah, no, of course, everyone does that. Okay, it's me from the future here. I'm going to be narrating over the rest of the video because past me takes a lot of long pauses in his speech, and he's also quite boring. Plus, the mic quality is going to be better now. So, the whole thing was surrounded by metal fences. However, they were quite easy to get around. There was a gap, and it was really easy to get onto this path here, which now means that I'm inside the quote-unquote abandoned city from the MrBeast video. The whole city, I guess, has been demolished at this point. I presume they're going to build something else there. So, like, all those buildings that Jimmy and the gang stepped on there, they're no longer here. Although, interestingly, if we look over there, there is a building there that appears to be abandoned. I don't think I'd be able to reach it, but it is there. So there is still something here, at least. Now, the current location I'm at, it's quite hard to see where the city was, like the location, so I guess I'll keep walking because all you can really see is sort of just trees right now, actually. Now, this path has obviously not been, like, maintained or anything on account of it being in an abandoned hotel complex. You're not meant to be walking on it, so why would they bother? You can tell by, like, the cracks and the plants growing on it and stuff. Now, there's not really a lot to see as I'm walking down this path here, so what I'll do is I'll throw up some images on screen of what the hotel used to look like. You can see this one here. If you look here, that's the building I just zoomed in on, so all these buildings in the background are gone. That one still remains. Also, the little wall in front of the building is still there now. You can see it here in the picture, blocking like half the building. So at this point, the path seems to turn left and go down there. There is some people down there, presumably like workers. I mean, that guy looks like a worker to the left there, cleaning or something. Those two don't look like workers, but the worker doesn't seem to be that bothered. However, I didn't want to go that way because it's not the way of the interesting part, so I just kept walking through just like all these plants and bushes and stuff. Again, obviously no one's like cutting these or anything because you're not meant to be here. But here's a better view of the whole place. I'll put some of the MrBeast drone footage on screen now. Interestingly, here in the MrBeast like drone shot, in the background you can see these buildings here, which Dogpack did point out were CGI. They are fake. I can say that for a fact. I've been there. They also weren't there, unless I guess they too were demolished. But if you have that knowledge in mind when you look at this, you can see, yeah, no, these are fake. You can tell because they're like too abandoned, and they also don't really blend in with the other buildings, and they look they're doing too much in the abandoned sector. Like, they got plants growing on them and stuff. The other buildings don't have that. The other buildings sort of have a general structure. These look like they've been snapped in half. Also, the other buildings are covered in graffiti. These ones are just pristinely cleaned somehow. But again, who genuinely fucking cares, man? It's a background element in a MrBeast video. I mean, at the end of the day, he did still stay in the abandoned village for like 7 days, and that's all that really matters, I guess. You know, it was an abandoned place, and he did stay there. I just remembered I have a video on my main channel. It's called like Nickelodeon's Forgotten Theme Park. And in that video, I'm not talking about a theme park, I'm talking about a Nickelodeon area of an amusement park. So that's like a similar thing. It's just exaggerating the title of everyone's done it. Okay, so I'm really deep in the wilderness here. I'm constantly getting poked by different plants and stuff. It's a really fun experience. But I've now like reached the end of all those trees and stuff and made it to where the actual buildings would have been. As you can see, there's plenty of like rocks and stuff from where the building once was. And here it is. This is where one of the hotels was. There's still like a wall there and stuff. You can kind of see on the floor. I don't know if these lines of like stone or whatever would have been like the different rooms. I assume so. So I guess I'm like standing where a hotel room once was or something. Going to the edge here, I assume this is why it's closed off. There's just a really steep drop at the very end of here. So that's probably not safe. But you can still see some parts of the building are left. And there's even a whole like a building over there that has yet to be demolished. I gotta assume it will be at some point. So looking at old pictures of the place and judging by my location, this is the building that I'm presumably standing in right now. So yeah, here's some footage from the MrBeast video also. Here's that drop I was talking about. Yeah, just like a steep drop there. No bars or anything. I got to assume that's why the gate's there. But, you know, looking about, this is where the whole building would have been. In the background here, there is also this building here that's not been demolished, but it has like a fence around it. And we can actually see it in the MrBeast video also. Here's some footage of that. You can see there's no fence around it in the Jimmy Beast video. And there's also, interestingly, some more graffiti up at the top. In Jimmy's video, there's only graffiti around the door, but now there's some around the top window as well. What this building I'm zooming in on here is the Grand Hotel, so another one of the hotels. You can see behind the trees there, it goes a bit further. Looking over here, I think these like squares in the walls are probably where rooms were, I'd assume. And they'd like extend out. That's what I gotta assume each one of those different squares is. But yeah, interesting stuff. So yeah, I'm standing on the land of the place where Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast once stood. Isn't that cool? I guess I'm also standing where Chris Tyson once stood, which I mean, that part's less cool, I'll be honest. There's also these buildings on this hill here behind the hotel complex that I don't actually know what they are. I don't think they're anything to do with the hotel complex. Like, I don't think these were part of it, but they're there, so that's something. Now, I mentioned before there were other people in the area, like general tourists and stuff, and one of them mentioned that this hotel supposedly went down as opposed to up. Like, apparently the reception was at the top of the building, and then you'd go down to the rooms. I don't know how true that is, I didn't fact check it, but that is what they said. Okay, so I'm now down at, like, the beach here, where we saw down from that path earlier. So this is what it looks like from down there. This is like a great angle to see the whole spot as a whole. If I just cut to the MrBeast drone footage, you can sort of see where everything would be. Here's another look at that building over there from a different angle here. There's also something in the back over there. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but it's clearly abandoned and also partially like demolished. Looking over here, there's a whole lot of trees, and that blank area, I gotta assume a building was there. We can see part of a building over here also, which I gotta assume is this building here. Very little seems to remain of it today, and it too is also surrounded by a fence. Here's another look at the Grand Hotel over here from a different angle. You can very clearly see it's blocked off by a fence there. Looking over here, there's some people there. That's the building, that's where I was standing at before, just up there, as you can see. That's where like one of the massive hotels was. It's like the back of it's still sort of there, you can tell. It's sort of obscured by the trees in this shot, but it is still kind of partially visible. Okay, so one thing I want to mention is I found this like German article that was quite hard for me to understand on account of the fact that I don't speak German, so I had to read it through Google Translate, which is obviously going to not be accurate. But it talked about the MrBeast video and what went into it. So apparently, Jimmy Beast paid 31,500 euros to have the whole complex to himself for 7 days. And during this time, tourists were denied access to the place, which I find interesting because that implies they were allowed in prior to Jimmy's video, right? However, when I went, there was just entirely fences around the place. So at some point, something changed and no one was allowed in. Well, I'm guessing there's numerous reasons for that. One, it's a private property, and it's also the building's been demolished now, so it's like a hazard, I guess. But also, I got to imagine, you know, Jimmy's video has 350 million views. I got to imagine a lot of people went to this place after Jimmy's video. I mean, there were people there when I went, right? And this was 2 years after the video came out. So I got to imagine these are all these reasons combined of why the fences are now there. But yeah, also the articles in there, it doesn't speak too kindly of MrBeast. I don't think the people writing it are big fans, to be honest. Anyway, that concludes this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and subscribe to my main channel and stuff. Goodbye.